One factor that I've found consistent over my 20-year software development career is the pervading aura of urgency and doom. You see, the problem with software development is that it's too expensive, takes too long, and that there are always far too many important tasks to do. On the flip side, it might not be all that clear to you, but your project manager is playing a game with you. I once had a software development manager brag to me that some of the time you have to create a fake sense of urgency to extract the best from your subordinates, and I was frankly appalled by that claim. I wondered whether he thought I would be impressed. How do you, as a software developer, deal with chronic urgency and unrealistic deadlines? Today I'm going to talk about a tool that you can use to communicate with decision makers to effectively clarify and negotiate priorities, and I'm going to talk to you about how to improve your estimates. The iron triangle describes 3 priorities that an organization might have for a set of features in a software release. They may have a date in mind, they may have an acceptable level of quality, and they might have a specific scope. In reality, most businesses want all 3 of those things. But quite often, when a deadline is coming close, not all 3 are realistic. Bear in mind, it's always better to start this discussion early rather than late, while decisions are still able to be made. Those discussions might start with a question like this. We've detected some problems with the report consolidator. Some of the time, the results don't correctly sum up with the expected values. Would you like us to ship with the problem, disable the feature, or shift the release date? This gives the decision maker the power to make a call on which of the 3 priorities they're willing to relax on. And given a bit of breathing room, it may be that you can find and fix this problem and ship with all 3 qualities. False alarm. Quite often in these circumstances, these discussions can go into quite a low level of detail, and with guidance from the project owner, you might be able to devise a solution that meets a middle point where everyone's happy. Oftentimes, an agreement to ship with problems includes reassurance that the problem is being treated with priority and will be fixed as soon as possible. Very often, shifting a deadline will mean that the decision maker will want you to firm up your date. At these times, it's good to be clear about what the uncertainty of your estimates actually are. Personally, I hate giving estimates. I hate them so much, and this is partly because so many times I've had estimates misused and turned into hard deadlines. This is problematic, especially for larger projects, because as you add estimates together, the uncertainties compound. That said, there are some systematic things that you can do to improve your estimates and incorporate uncertainty. One way to deal with estimates is to cover off a mental checklist. It might include: is there a user interface to implement? How many fields or actions do you need to implement? Is there any complex validation or interaction between the fields? Is there a protocol or API that you need to implement? And is there a pattern for this already? How many data structures, files, or database tables does the feature need to touch? How many related data structures need to be made available for the feature to work? Are there any downstream effects to check? And what is the associated complexity of the interactions between this feature and the others? And how important is it to get this feature exactly right? Or stated a different way, how costly would a mistake in this feature be? Your checklist might be different depending on the environment. I currently work on an n-tiered application with services and a shared data store, but I've also worked in other areas where the considerations were markedly different. This is probably still not enough to be safe. One good approach is to deliver an estimate qualified as being aggressive but possible, and then also provide a safety factor describing your level of uncertainty. You might want to determine this from your historical variation between your estimates and your delivery time. I've heard some people use numbers like an extra 25% And personally, I think this is far too tight. And numbers closer to 3 times estimated might be more realistic on average. Check your statistics and you'll know. And like or comment if you found this helpful.